Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. I am your host, Bob Benham, and here we go with another episode. This one, we're going to talk about um, incoming President elect, former President Donald Trump's new cabinet that is being assembled incredibly quickly. uh, Lightning speed, as a matter of fact. I guess that's the benefit of already having a term done and leaving office and then being able to go back into the White House and having experienced what he needs to do and get things going right away. So that way, when he goes into the White House, he can get right on the ball and get things rolling. So he's got some really good people going into some really good positions. Um, the only controversial pick that he's got going in right now is uh, Congressman Matt Gaetz from Florida being tabbed as Attorney General. Of course, it's got the left, the Democrats, going absolutely uh, crazy, and they want him thrown off the whole thing right now. It can't happen fast enough. And the funny part about it is they're afraid, basically. They're afraid of him getting in there and what he uh, is going to do, basically. I mean, he's going to clean house. The DOJ is one of the most corrupt government organizations that there is right now. Sadly, I never thought I would ever say that. The Department of Justice is supposed to be a nonpartisan, objective, minded, fact-based organization, and it is anything but that right now. And unfortunately, it has turned into our whole justice system is a two-tiered justice system, and it's been that way for a very long time, sadly. And I mean, it's even been that way in Congress when you see what happens with different politicians. You see if you see the Democrats come up on charges of something, absolutely nothing happens to them. I mean, it's just like, oh, okay, well, whatever. You said you're sorry. Everything's good now. But if it's a Republican, we want you to do time in jail, and that's just how it is. You're going to jail. You're set to a higher standard, and you must pay. And we need to make an example out of you. And that's just never been more prevalent than that. I mean, it's the Democrats will do anything they want, plain and simple. there was a case here recently where I'm at where right after the election, a principal of a school here wrote a memorandum to the staff saying about how the elections stirred up a lot of emotion and stuff like that, and they need to be they have to all this BS. It was all political, and knowing that she violated all kinds of school district policy. And somebody basically blew the whistle about it, and they put her on suspension. And supposedly there was an investigation into it and things like that. And next thing you know, she's back on the job. And everybody's questioning that. Like, wait a minute, how's she back on the job? What's going on here? And finally a statement came out and said, oh yeah, she violated 2 of our policies, but she apologized and said she just overreacted, and she thought about what she did and realized what she had done wrong, and she said she would work on not doing that again, and so it's okay. What? She apologized, and now it's okay. Now, if a different principal from a different background, say a conservative background, had done that, fired. That's what would have happened, fired. That's all that. I mean, that's the end of that. I mean, that's just how it would have been. So, this whole, it's sickening. It is just totally sickening. And it's just crazy how they can get away with that. And it's only because the elites have set this thing up to where they can get away with anything. As long as you're a liberal, the system's set up for you. And they have been working at getting this set up since President Franklin Roosevelt. He's the one that started this road down this road with the oh gosh, I can't think of the name of the program now. The New Deal, I think, is what it was called, where he when the Depression hit, and he gave all these people federal jobs. They were temporary, but they would be out there, like they would work on the Hoover Dam and all these other things like that. And the government would pay them to do these jobs just so they would have work. And then they started Social Security and this and that and all these federal programs, and the government was your friend, and they were going to take care of you. And basically, he was starting down the Marxist communist road, and it was kind of like an underhanded beginning to all that. Now they will deny that. They will deny that to the nth degree. But that was the start. And so when you look back on that stuff, that's just how it was. So, but that got their power trip going, and they've used that ever since, and that's how they got their claim to fame for being for the working man. Um, they're there for us. They're going to take care of us, and uh, so that mantra just started to take hold, and um, as time went on, they started playing the media. They started playing all these groups. It just started taking hold and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, it started to the point. It's gotten to the point where they've gotten too far to the left, and now it's become more where the working man has had enough of that garbage. They've taken it too far. This whole transgenderism, you know, that movement, they want to make that sound like um like that's something that somebody is, like they're, I don't know. How do you describe that? I mean, it's there is no way to describe that. That's just mental illness, is what that is. I'm sorry, but that's just exactly what that is. I mean, you see that it's just mental illness. The way they're out there doing this stuff. Um, I don't know how to other way to describe it. And a lot of this other stuff that they're doing uh, with all this other garbage that's the left has decided to take on, pushing all these. I mean, if you want to look at with the identity politics is racism. If when you look at particular identities, that's racism. They're the ones that are worried about it. You look at the conservatives, and they're not worried about identities. They could care less. And there are multiple videos that have been posted on YouTube and on all kinds of platforms, on X, on whatever, and it's got minorities out there saying, "Yeah, I posted. I did an experiment where I was saying I'm a Kamala supporter, and I'm a and talked to people and said that I voted for Kamala, and how they're the reactions of the people, and then I told them, well, I'm a Trump supporter, and their reactions about that. And when I told the people that I'm a Kamala supporter to Trump supporters, they were like, well, it's okay that you voted for her. It's no big deal. We still, you're still accepted. We'll still have you over for whatever. That you can still be included. But when I told Kamala supporters I voted for Trump, and they were like, "Oh, you're excluded. You're not no part of our group no more. Get out of here." Blah 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 blah. And they said, "How come the ones that are supposed to be the most tolerant and inclusive and blah 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 are the most exclusive? The ones that are excluding and don't want you around and whatever." And I have been saying that for years about how they're the most hypocritical people in the world. They say one thing and do the complete opposite. They've been doing that for years, the liberals. They are the biggest liars in the world, and they're the most evil people in the world. and I just, oh, I mean, I tolerate being around them and stuff. I'll be nice to them. But uh, when I will defend my positions to the death with them. I don't care. And I mean, I won't get into any kind of knockdown, drag out fights. If, when things start getting to the point where, hey, if it's getting to that ugliness, I just, you know, you got your view, I got mine, but I'm done. It's time to walk away. Um, so, I mean, it's just how that is, and unfortunately, and it's really sad. It really, I mean, it really is sad. Um, but when you're dealing with liberals nowadays, the best analogy I can give. This is the best analogy I can give. When I was a police officer, I dealt with drunks all the time because I used to work nights in on patrol. And oh my gosh, the number of drunks that we had to deal with was crazy. And when you had to deal with somebody that was just smashed drunk, I mean, they just out of it, you could not reason with them for nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. So, I mean, they would just question everything. They would just uh, give you crap about everything, talk back, I mean, it was just a fight for, I mean, y- there was just, you just couldn't tell them nothing because it was going to be a fight. I mean, argument, fight, whatever. That's talking to a liberal. I mean, you're not gonna convince them of anything. You're not gonna talk them. You're not gonna say, "Hey, you know, come to an agreement here." You're not gonna get there. They don't want to. They are so hard line. I mean, there's no coming to an agreement. I've heard. I mean, I'll talk to them and I'll say, "Well, that's a good point," and kind of say, "Yeah, there's maybe some ground here," but not them, not them. And I had to laugh. Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader of the House, uh, he came out and said, "Oh, we're all for bipartisanship, and we're ready to do work with the Republicans and get to hit the ground running and get work together, but we will fight their extremism." In other words, we ain't working with you because they're going to see everything as extreme. That's how they've been for at least the last 30 years. At least that. I mean, you just that's there's no other way to say that. I mean, that's what I've observed. I can't. How do you explain that? I mean, that's what I have observed. You can't deny it. It's like Chuck Schumer doing this. He did the exact same thing. He said he now wants to work everything to be bipartisan, and this is after he tried to turn the Senate uh, and fix all the Senate rules and change all the Senate rules to the point where it would make it impossible to have uh, anything be challenged in the Senate because he wanted to get rid of the filibuster rule and all that stuff. It was all going to be strictly oil majority. You know, the majority, you get 51 votes, it's now passed. Well, you know, that's not how the Senate was set up. It was set up to make it harder for legislation to pass, so that way it would have to be bipartisan. But he was going to change all these rules so that way it was perpetual Democrat power. Well, that's not. And now, because he couldn't get that stuff through while he was in charge, and now that the Republicans have been voted in and switched, you know, now that the Senate switched over to from Republican to Democrat coming in January, all of a sudden, I'm ready to be bipartisan and work together. You liar! You liar! Same with you, Hakeem Jeffries. You're a liar. You have zero interest in working together with the Republicans. Zero. You could care less. You guys don't want to work with the Republicans. All you care about is yourselves. It's all you've ever cared about is yourselves. It's who do you think you are kidding? Unreal. Unreal. And with now, you know, and it's been so funny because every just about, I mean, there's only been what I think there's been only a couple of President Trump's picks for his cabinet that I've heard a couple Democrats go, "Ooh, that was a good pick." But for the majority, they have been just total uproar. No, no. Especially, well, good. Another good example is Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy with the Department of Government Efficiency that he's set up for them to shrink the government down. I'm all for that. I can tell you right now, there's what they can get rid of the EPA, they can get rid of the Department of Education. Useless bureaucracy. The other one's the Department of Energy. Another one that's useless bureaucracy. Department of Energy was formed in 1977 so that way they could find alternatives to fossil fuels and make it easier, and so that way it would help with the energy crisis that was happening during the 1970s. You know what they found? Nothing. Nothing's changed. In almost 40 years of that bureaucracy being there, they have completed absolutely nothing. But the bureaucracy has grown. I mean, it is huge. They need to get rid of it because it does nothing except create messes and havoc. Same with the Department of Education. Useless bureaucracy. They cater to the teachers' unions. That's all they do. They're not there for the interest of the students. They don't help at all. with the students, helping the students? Nothing. They don't do anything for the students. Even the local school districts don't do anything for the students. They're there for the unions, the teachers' unions. They run the schools. The parents have absolutely zero control over what's being taught to their children. Zero. I would not, if I were a parent, I would absolutely not send my child to public schools. I would homeschool my child in an instant. That would there would be no way, absolutely no way I would send my child to public schools because they're not getting an education. They're being indoctrinated. I get stunned all the time, and I don't know why I get stunned by it. I shouldn't be because I know what's going on. I do. I know what's going on. I don't know why I'm being stunned by it. I really don't. But for some reason, when I talk to a family and I hear about what their kids are learning in school, I'm like, why? Well, that's not something they need to know. And then the way they've taught, the way they've changed the way that they teach math. I mean, what? Where did that come from? You know, they got this, what was it called? Common Core junk? What is that? I don't need, I mean, I don't get the whole education thing is, it's out in left field, which is exactly where the leftists want it. It just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. And you see all the classrooms nowadays, they don't have desks per se. They're all have these little community tables that they all the kids sit around, and they're like, it's like a community thing. Oh, community, communism. Interesting. And there's an easy solution for this stuff, people. There is. I mean, you look at how, I mean, our kids today are just, they are so far behind other nations. They're not being taught the basics in education. They're not keeping up with the other nations of the world because they're being taught the basics. And all this stuff has to change. It's got to go back. Kamala Harris was, we need to turn the page. We need to move forward, not backward. Well, I got news for you. We do need to go backward. We do need to go backward because because this going forward stuff has not worked. It hasn't worked at all. We need to go back and start teaching our kids again, teaching the math, teaching, what was it? The three R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. We need to go back to that because they're not learning anything. These kids coming out of school today have no idea. Uh, They can't read, they can't write, and they can't do math. You go to a fast food restaurant. You hand them cash. They can't make change without putting it in the cash register to figure out how much change to give back. And even then, they can't count it out with the coins or the bills. We are in serious trouble. We're that's just unacceptable, totally unacceptable. Uh, Reading, basic reading, they can't read. And to write something, oh my God, to see what, I mean, even when I go on to even just like local news websites, these the watch or to read what these supposed journalists write on these news websites, and this is local stuff. The punctuation, the grammar, the misspellings, the oh my gosh, where did they learn? How That's not journalism. You can't If you can't write a simple sentence, that's not journalism. Wha- Holy cow. I mean, w- this is just nuts. I love how these sites have suggest a correction. And then a couple times I wrote in the suggested correction, uh, I said rewrite the story because it makes no sense. And one time I got a response back, and it said, "Well, why don't you write the suggest how we should write the story?" And I did, and they were like, "Oh." You couldn't write the damn story. Uh, and then and a lot of these stories now, if you really look, they're all copy and paste from like CNN, MSNBC, uh, ABC, CBS. There's nothing original written anymore. It's all just copy and paste. So you're not getting, the somebody actually doing journalism and doing a story based on whatever. It's all copy and paste. So, and if you do see a local story, it's strictly maybe 2 to 3 lines. You know, about so and so. There was a homicide at such and such area. Uh, a suspect was arrested. Uh, Please stay tuned for more information. That's it. That's that's all you'll read on the website. I'm like, well, that's a hell of a story. God, give me a break. Yeah, like I'm gonna. And then when you go back for more information, it says because it says stay tuned for more information. You go back for more information later, and there's just the same 3 lines. There ain't nothing else there. It's like okay, well, that was a waste of time. Oh my gosh, where is this world going? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. things have definitely made a change. That's about all you can say. Uh, well, the wind has picked up. Thunderstorm has arrived. Wow. Anyway, more about our wonderful politicians and stuff, and it's just crazy how they are just losing their minds about the fact that the conservatives and Republicans have spoken up. I mean, I'm actually shocked at this past election because I'm I kind of take a pessimistic view of the elections because um, unfortunately the polls have been so horrifically wrong for so long um, that I just don't trust them at all. And again, they proved to be wrong again with this election. And so, uh, with the especially with the Senate races being the way they were, for the Republicans to swing the Senate the way they did and gain, um, basically they gained what four seats. I was shocked. So now they've got a 53-40, what is it, 53-47 majority, which is a good thing. And then it looks like in the House, there's a chance for a, what is it, 221, 219, no, 221, I'm sorry, 221, 214 majority in the House. And then President Trump, we had the landslide with the Electoral College, and then also took the popular vote. And he took 76, almost, and with the count still going, it's getting close to 77 million votes. The most popular votes ever by a Republican candidate. Biden had 81 million votes when he won in 2020, and I was stunned by 81 million, and Trump came in with 71 million, I think it was, or close to 72 million in 2020. And I was stunned by that, by a Republican. So now with Trump, with that getting close to 77 million, he definitely cut into that, into the Democrats' vote big time. And so he swung a lot of people over to the Republican side, which is not surprising, because of what happened to the United States in the last 4 years. It hasn't been pretty. So I'm glad it's turned out the way it did. Hopefully, they will realize the gift they've been handed to them and get things done and finally start putting things right on the right track in the United States again. Um, for far too long, this nation has been going down the wrong path, and 70% of this nation believes it's been going down the wrong path, and that's a high number. That's an extremely high number. So obviously, the people voted for that change. So let's keep our fingers crossed that something good comes of this. Um, all I can say is this has been this has been a total blessing given to the people. The people voted, and they voted for that change, and uh, I just pray to God that we get that change. Obviously, uh, God's looking down on the United States, um, and that is definitely a good thing, and something very, very positive. Um, we are the light on the hill, and we always have been as a nation. We've been the light on the hill for the entire world for a very long time. And we've been going down a wrong road for quite a while. And the people have finally woken up and realized that that road needed to stop, and we've had to make that change. And I just hope we are not so short-sighted that in 2 years we make the change to go back down that road and mess it all back up, because we're doing the right thing right now, and we just need to keep it going that way. So with that, I just want to say thank you for coming back and checking in. I really appreciate it. And we will be back again soon with another episode. And we will come up with some good subject, I hope. I'm trying to figure out how I want to structure this podcast a little bit better. If you noticed, I kind of changed my the direction of my setting a little bit in my little office here. I'm using a different computer to do this on, and I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of set topics and kind of structure this a little bit better. So and get things into a little bit of a more timed setting. So hopefully, once I get my brain working on that, we'll get this a little bit more structured and get this going. All right, now I'm just going. Everything's going right off the top of the head. So, like I told you before, everything comes from right inside here and right up here. So you're getting me. That's all you're getting. Everything's coming from me. I want you to know who I am, and that's why I'm doing this. It's something I feel very strongly about. Nothing here is scripted whatsoever. Even when I do get it to a more structured setting, it's going to be everything's going to be coming from here. It's not gonna. There's not gonna be like a teleprompter or anything like that. I'm going to have it to the point where it's just basically going to be a guideline. Like, I want to talk about this, and then we'll get to a certain point. I'm going to try to have a timer that I talk about this for so long, and this for so long, and this for so long. And that's pretty much what I want to do. With that, just kind of give you an idea of what I'm wanting to do with this. Um, if you have any suggestions of what you would like to see me talk about, hear me talk about, please don't be afraid to make a comment. I do read comments. I do check on things from time to time. You can leave one on my Facebook page. You could leave one on my Rumble page. You can leave one on my Twitter page. You can leave one on my, well, now you can't do one on my web page, but you can email me. If you want to email me, you can. Just email me at bob@bobbenham.com, and I will look at your email. And if you have a suggestion, I will take a look at that. And if it's something that sounds good, I will put that into the podcast. And if you have a question about anything, I will do my best to answer it. So, with that, have a great few days ahead of you. Have a great day today. And God bless you. Take care of yourself. And God bless the United States of America. And again, my name's Bob Benham. And thank you for taking the time to listen and watch me here at Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. Have a good one. Bye bye.